Hello everyone, welcome back to another week of technical analysis on US stock. A review on last week, we mentioned that there are several bearish signs. So let's look at this week and we will forecast what the upcoming weeks will be like. Now let us look at the S&P 500. We have seemed to broken through the previous high and reach new high today. However, the MACD is showing a divergence where no new highs have been made, along with the RSI indices. So this new high could be a stop loss trigger for those who are shorting the market last week or this week. From what I can see, the volume has not indicated any heavy selling also. Along with the stochastic is showing quite a bullish pattern, bullish divergence. However, I would be very conscious on the upcoming weeks, because there is simply not much strength in the uptrend currently, but I will not short the market for this year or the next year for obvious reasons, since the Fed has been printing money. Unless the Fed is increasing the interest rate, then we can see some bearish movement. Moving on, we have the Nasdaq 100 index. No new highs have been breached. The trend, I should say that it is in the accumulation stage. Maybe accumulate between this and this range, or maybe to the middle range. As we mentioned last week, there's a divergence of bearish sentiment last week. However, for the upcoming week, I'm seeing a bullish divergence on the stochastic. So the price might go up, maybe touching the previous high, and then another down or breakthrough. There's two options. The price might trade within this range, in between the SMA 50 and the previous high. Going forward to the New York Composite Index, very nice uptrend, still not overbought yet. The MACD is reversing to show a bullish sentiment on the market, as well as the stochastic indicator. So on the upcoming week, the New York Composite, I would say that maybe accumulation a little bit, and then by the end or mid of the week, further upwards movement, but very small uptrend movement. For the Nasdaq Composite, no new high has been breached. The RSI has been showing bearish sentiment. However, the stochastic is showing a bullish divergence, which means along with the SMA 50, I would say that for the upcoming week, the price may accumulate here, and then they'll try to reach the previous high, or maybe even break through a little bit, and then the big banks or big institutions will take profit and drive the prices down a bit. So I would say that they would trade within this particular range. For the Dow Jones, as I mentioned last week, the uptrend is still strong from the previous 2 weeks of accumulation. They break through it, reaching new highs, and we can see some strength in this movement. Let's see whether there's a bearish divergence within this area. We have to wait for the indicator to either break through or reverse. If it reverses, it is showing a bearish sentiment. The MACD is showing a bullish sentiment for the upcoming weeks. The stochastic is showing a bearish sentiment, like we forecast last week. There's still some upwards movement left, but I would see if there's no movement going up, there could be further accumulation within this zone, and then maybe a little bit of a breakthrough by the end of next week. On the transportation index, again last week we've mentioned that the price has still room to go upwards, because the MACD has been showing a very strong bullish divergence, along with the stochastic indicator bullish divergence. The RSI is showing a severe overbought situation, but overall the Dow Jones transportation is still in a very strong upwards movement due to the economic situation where transportation is in a scarcity and earnings are showing improvement. Very low volume, there's not much selling pressure. So next week maybe accumulation or further uptrend. For gold, last week we mentioned that if there's a breakthrough from this level, the price would go to the SMA 200. So by today, they've just barely not touching it, but moving on to the direction that we are predicting. So by next week, maybe a little bit pullback and further touching the SMA 200 trend line. Bullish signs on the MACD, bearish divergence on the stochastic, and then very strong buying volume. I would say that the uptrend is still strong. So due to the inflation and increase of fear for the higher interest rate, people are going into gold and abandoning Bitcoin, maybe due to Bitcoin has been too pricey as of lately. The fair value for Bitcoin has not been perceived accurately last few months, so people are flocking to gold, as gold has been quite cheap relative to the current stock market pricing, which is in the overbought scenario. So looking at gold and compare with Bitcoin, gold is found to be the more attractive options. So review for S&P 500, I would say that there's a few bearish sentiment, but upwards movement is still strong, so we might see accumulation or higher chances for further uptrend, small price increment, or a very small pullback and further uptrend. For the Nasdaq, so the price I presume would be trading within a range in between the previous high and the SMA 50. For New York Composite, might be a small pullback followed by further uptrend. For Nasdaq Composite, again with the price might trade in between the previous high and the SMA 50. And then judging by the end of this week, there is good upward movement within the current price and the previous high. For Dow Jones, further uptrend, but beware of accumulation. Signs are quite bullish, so it is good. If we see accumulation, I will put long position. For Dow Jones Transportation, further upwards movement, but beware of the RSI overbought, but MACD and the stochastic is showing strong sign of bullish sentiment. In gold, the price may reach until the SMA 50 level and then pull back, but the sentiment has changed from Bitcoin as an asset to gold as an asset for inflation, because gold is currently perceived to be cheaper. So we might see a push to this level, 1900 level, for the upcoming months. Well, that's it for this week market analysis. See you again next week. Bye bye.